Dominating your fantasy league? Prove it.
Shaping up to be a great game between these two teams. There's no telling what might happen.
Enhance the game with 3 easy steps. Predict, compete, and win. Start now and play your first $20 risk-free. Only on WINVIEW.
Like I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, told him I'ma hit it out of stands. I deserve another 100 bands. I deserve another 100 fans. Told them this was always in the plans. I just did it cause they said I can. Blowing euros when I'm down in France. Labels asking how I build a brand. Told them put a check up in my hands. Do I got time? No cap. Made a few checks but they all in the raps. Had a few friends but they suck in the past. I don't even trip when I'm thinking about that. Hopped in the whip and we all in black. Shawty wanna ride till the hop in the back. 0 to 100 seen a rev on the dash. They ain't catching up dog, I'm moving too fast. I'm in the big leagues. Told them don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in a big league.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TDPHINSTAK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Yes, glad to see we already got 100 people plus in the building, but hit that like button up front so we can get started sooner. Y'all already know what time it is. Thank you so much to the mod squad for doing your job, helping us have a nice, smooth stream every time we get a chance. Shout out to all the members of the channel that's always holding us down, almost like the godfathers of the channel. And listen, man, everybody who's subscribed, we appreciate it. We keep on hitting new thresholds. Literally like a month ago, we were talking about, hey, we hit 19,000 subscribers. Yay! Hey, man, we just hit 19,530 or something like that. So we added 500 family members in a month. And I always like to remind us where we are because our family just keeps growing. So to the newest members of TDPHINSTAK, all 500 of our newest family members, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the content. If not, sorry, I could only be me. But I appreciate it, man. Yes, man, we on our way to 20K and then 50. All right, how about that? Because Dolphin Nation is going to grow. Why are we going to grow? Because at some point we got to win, right? At some point we got to win. All right, man, but today's stream, we're going to be talking about the head coaches, the candidates. We're going to go ahead and grade them. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to grade the coaches. I got 15 coaches on my list. I have 11 that have been talked about as far as knowing that we're interviewing them, and I got an additional 4, okay? We're going to talk about those coaches. All right, we're going to give them a final grade, okay? We're going to give them a final grade. So here's the criteria that I came up with. First and foremost, experience, okay? There's 3 categories that we're going to look at. And each of those categories have a 33.3% factor. Okay. And matter of fact, let me have a little fun with this. We're going to give each category 30%. Each category is going to be 30% for the 3 categories. And the last 10% is going to be us as fans, what we want. Okay. Because they always seem to forget about us. So we're going to add us into this equation. All right. Shout out to Brian Little, another member of the channel, one of our newest members. Welcome to TDPHINSTAK. And he got the MVP status. Salute to you. Thank you for becoming a member. Everybody who becomes a member, you're basically saying, hey, I endorse what you're doing. I'm going to back what you're doing, and I'm going to support what you're doing. And, you know, I appreciate all my members because they put their money where their mouth is and help us do bigger and better things every chance we get. I appreciate y'all. Y'all help me pay for the StreamYard subscription, all of the PFF subscriptions, all those little knick-knack subscriptions that I got to get to make sure I know what I'm talking about when I'm arguing with people. And you know, this $130 internet bill, you know, that 1 gig is legit, and other stuff, man. But I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank y'all for that. And we got another member. All right. Jets Unleashed. All right. I wonder what that is. Jets Unleashed. What's up, man? I appreciate you with the GOAT status, man. Y'all hit me hard right now, man. I appreciate that. Nothing but love. Okay. Nothing but love. I appreciate that. Now we're gonna dive in and get started. Man, I actually left one name off of this list. I'm about to read the list to y'all, okay? Let me make sure I didn't leave this name off. Yeah, I did. I just put it now. Let me start him. All right, so we got 16 people on the list and 12 primary, okay? Now, here's the grading category, how we're going to do it. 30% factor on experience of the coach, because I think that's very important. We're gonna want a coach that's experienced. 30% factor on accomplishments. And when I say accomplishments, what have they accomplished? Have they had a leading, subcategory in the playoffs? And, we'll talk through that and I'll help y'all understand what I'm talking about. And 30% time to rise. That's the big one to me. That 30% time to rise. Time to rise means a lot, and I'll explain that when we get there, okay? And the 10%, do we like them? Do we even like them? Okay? And does the fans even want them? And we're going to put us as a factor in there because it matters to me, man. And that's going to total 100%. And we're going to grade each and every one of them. Normal school grades, 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B. We're going to do that scale. I'll be doing the math. I got y'all on that. I'm pretty good at it with the percent factors and stuff. So what's going to end up happening is we're going to have these categories and we're going to scale it like 1 to 10. Even with, no matter of fact, we're going to do it 1 to 10, even with decimals, maybe even 1 to 100 just to be fit, just to be even about it. But we'll come up with final grades at the end and see who ends up having the highest score. And we'll see how that works, all right? Wookie with the membership, with the Pro Bowl status. Salute to you, Wookie. That's what's up, man. Appreciate you becoming a member, and thank you for the love and the support of this channel, man. TD, a new member. TD, a new member. Yeah, I know. I just got it. I see everything, man. Sometimes I just keep on doing what I'm doing and I get to it eventually. But I appreciate y'all letting me know, because sometimes I miss the super chats and I feel real bad about it, because anybody who can take their time to support the channel financially, I feel real bad when I miss their messages and super chats. So I'll be appreciative when y'all mods remind me. Now, you ain't got to let me know right away, but if you see it start passing and I'm still talking, I'm all for the reminders. And I appreciate it, all right? Most of the time, I'm good, but sometimes I do miss it. So thank y'all for helping me out. But anyway, let's dive in, all right? Do we have 100 likes? Oh, come on, man. We got 200 people watching, and we only got 89 likes. Let's get the like button up so we can get started. Let's get the like button up so I can read this list of coaches that I have on the list. Hit that like button. Let's get it up. I want to read the list of coaches that we have, and then we're going to start diving in and get started, okay? All right, we got over 100 likes. Let's get it cracking. Maybe TD has an update on the Watson situation. We'll talk about that at the end. I got a little something, but it ain't really much, just being 100 with you. But it's actually promising. It's more promising for us. But we still don't know. This coaching search is going to be the most important thing to all of that, okay? Now, here's what I got on my list. 16 coaches. And I know that's a lot of coaches. We're going to try to move as fast as we possibly can. We're going to use our good old friend Wikipedia. That's going to be one of our biggest primary guides to all of this. All right, so number 1, Brian Daboll. Number 2, Mike McDaniels. Number 3, Doug Peterson. Number 4, this is an extra one I put on there, Brian Leftwich, okay? Number 5, Eric Bieniemy. Number 6, Kellen Moore. Number 7, Jim Harbaugh. Number 8, I put Todd Bowles on there. Number 9, I put Nathaniel Hackett on there. Number 10, I put Kevin O'Connell on there, okay? Number 11, Josh McDaniels. Number 12, Thomas Brown, who was the newest person we requested the interview. Number 13, Vance Joseph. Number 14, Dan Quinn. Number 15, Leslie Frazier. And number 16, Jim Caldwell. I'm saying John Caldwell. Jim Caldwell, okay? We got a lot of work to do, ladies and gentlemen, okay? We have a lot of work to do, but let's go ahead, dive in, and get started. So y'all bear with me as I pull this stuff up. Matter of fact, let me grab my phone. Let me do this. Let me put my phone up so I can see the chat real time. That way I can use my second screen to let y'all see what I'm seeing. All right, my channel. All right, the live. All right, we're live. Okay. All right, so we got that up. Now let me exit out of this. All right, and let me pull up on my good old Faithful. All right, first up on the docket, Brian Daboll. I want to hear from y'all first. What do you think about Brian Daboll? Okay, what do you think about Brian Daboll? I'm going to read some of your comments. We're going to look them up and we're going to research them on our own, okay? See, this is the hard work. See, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Y'all are doing what I typically do off camera. See, when I do a live, I'm sitting here, okay, Brian Daboll, I'm reading up. What don't I know about him? What do I know about him? Let me get all my content together. No, not on this one. We're going to do this together. We're going to learn who these guys are. Everything we can learn about them, we're going to learn about them, especially as coaches, okay? And I think that's very important. We're going to do it together because this is how it's supposed to be, because there's too many preconceived notions about coaches. I've already saw some people's coaching evaluations, and I just think these preconceived notions and the way people look at other people, they just predetermine, is so unfair. It's so unfair, man. So, this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to be small in the corner. We're going to Wikipedia this boy because this is the best source. This is the best source. So let me see what y'all got to say about Daboll. He'll want to keep Tua. Okay, nothing wrong with that, especially if he can make it happen. I'll pass. Let's learn about him first. Let's be fair. Sounds like a good idea. Okay. No, he's going to want to. No, thanks. You don't want an OC coming from a system with an elite QB. Interesting. That's interesting. You know, that's something that I don't like too, because I personally, that's just like that Adam Gase effect, living off of Peyton Manning's name. No, you didn't build no Peyton Manning. You ain't no Peyton Manning. So I hate that too. Okay, but all right, Brian Daboll. Okay. Born in 75, so he's a young coach. He's only 10 years older than me, so he's 47 years old. And I say young coach because most coaches are pretty up there in age, and they upper 50s and 60s, you know. Canadian American football coach who is the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. As we all know, he previously served as an offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns, Miami Dolphins, if y'all don't remember that, Kansas City Chiefs, and Alabama Crimson Tide. Daboll has also served in various capacities as an assistant coach for the New England Patriots. So we got a guy who has Patriot experience, and that's what's one of the most intriguing things that people will always look at, okay? In college, Daboll was hired as a restricted earnings coach by the College of William and Mary in 1997 before moving to Michigan State University as a graduate assistant from 98 to 99. All right, so here's his National Football League, return to college, return to the NFL. So he went back and forth. So let's see what that's about, okay? This is what I like to look at on the right side. For all the coaches, we're going to be looking at this right side, okay? That's what matters to me, that right side. That's like a summed up bio, okay? And if we need to dive in more, we can do that, okay? So let me get my mouse working right. All right. He went to Rochester. But anyway, here we go. As a coach. So right off the bat, as a coach, he was coaching since 1997. Okay. That gives you 25 years experience, ladies and gentlemen. 25 years of experience as a coach, which is always a great thing, okay? Now remember, we're gonna grade his experience when we're all said and done. We're also gonna grade accomplishments, and then we're going to grade time to rise. I feel like time to rise is very important, and the right side of the screen is gonna tell you time to rise. And let me break that down. Let's see how fast he became an offensive coordinator and now trying to be a head coach. Let's see all the stops along the way, because that's important. So first of all, he was a volunteer assistant in 97 at William and Mary. All right, got his entry. Michigan State, graduate assistant. So he's still an assistant. So he moved on to a whole nother school to be a graduate assistant, a whole nother year. New England Patriots defensive assistant, didn't have a specific role, but he was an assistant on the defense. So he got his entry into the NFL pretty much in 2000. That's kind of when it starts for me, okay? And he was a defensive assistant. Now, he was a defensive assistant for 2 years, it looks like. All right? And after 2 years, he became a wide receiver coach. Now, I already like this, and let me tell you why. Most guys become a wide receiver assistant coach. Just so y'all know, there is a such thing. Like every position also has an assistant position. Like you're going to see some of these resumes where you're going to see like O-line assistant coach, wide receiver assistant coach. But no, not this guy. He was a defensive assistant, means that he worked with the whole defense. And right away, he gets a wide receiver coaching position. Now, he's doing that for 4 years. Now, I've seen some resumes that after 1 or 2 years, they already jump to another role. But that's not the case. He was a wide receiver coach for 4 years. I don't like that, but it's okay. Early in his career. Then he goes to be a quarterback coach in 2007, 2008. So you're a quarterback's coach for 2 years after that. Now, that's a good jump because the quarterback position being one of the most important positions. Then the Cleveland Browns, you become an offensive coordinator from 2009 to 2010. Now, that's also a nice jump. You're an offensive coordinator. Now, I can already tell y'all this. I'm already not going to be impressed with his resume because you've been an offensive coordinator since 2009. And here we are, 2022. And you still haven't got your shot at a head coaching job because we're probably going to see some resumes of guys being a coordinator for less than 5 years and already a head coach. Those are your studs. Okay? But let's keep it going. Then he laterals from Cleveland and comes to Miami in 2011. And we're going to read the bio on this, by the way. To be the same job, an offensive coordinator. Then you go to the Kansas City Chiefs in 2012 to be an offensive coordinator. Now, here's what bothers me about that again. You haven't found a home with the Cleveland Browns for 2 years, the Miami Dolphins, nor the Kansas City Chiefs. And then you technically get demoted to a tight end coach in New England for 3 years. So you go back to New England. They liked you. So you go back to New England and you take a demotion as a tight ends coach. It's not going good for him, in my opinion. Then and from there, you take another demotion and leave the NFL and go to Alabama in 2017 as an offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. The 1 year that he was with Tua, but Tua wasn't his main guy. He wasn't the starter, even though I heard he preferred Tua to start. And that's another thing. If that article was true that I read that he preferred Tua to start, you're the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Why didn't he start? Why didn't he start if that's what you preferred? It doesn't look like your word carried much weight over there then if that was the case. And then you come back into the NFL with the Buffalo Bills in 2018 to present, and you finally find some success as a coordinator because, first of all, you're getting longevity going on your 4th year potentially. Excuse me. And offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. But again, this is where it scares me. You're living behind Josh Allen, an actual quarterback who has talent. So how much can we attribute that to the actual coordinator? Not sure, ladies and gentlemen. Not sure at all. Now, career highlights and awards. 5-time Super Bowl champion. We know that was with the Patriots, but he still was there helping with that regime. You got to give him credit for it. Okay? AP NFL Assistant Coach of the Year in 2020. But that was with Buffalo. Josh Allen's promising year. I don't give that much merit on that, even though we give him credit. But in an evaluation standpoint, it was Josh Allen. College football national champion. Come on, it's Alabama. It's Alabama. I got to tell you, off top, man, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. I'm not sure. But let's read some of the context because sometimes this matters. That's why you see the National Football League. We're going to read this because sometimes it explains some of the things he did and accomplished. Let's read. Daboll began his NFL coaching career with the New England Patriots as a defensive coaching assistant in 2000 under new head coach Bill Belichick before being promoted to wide receiver coach for the Patriots in 2002. After the 06 season, he left the Patriots to serve as the Jets quarterback coach. The Patriots won 3 Super Bowls during that Daboll's tenure. Okay. In 2009, Daboll joined Eric staff in Cleveland as offensive coordinator. Under Daboll, the Browns had the NFL's 32nd ranked offense in 2009. Got dogs. See the context behind it? Why was he bouncing around from team to team as the offensive coordinator? Because with the Browns, he had the 32nd ranked offense. Sound like Miami. And the 29th ranked offense in 2010. So what? He barely got better. Daboll was named offensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins under Tony Sparano. I'm sorry, I got to pop Tony Sparano real quick because in 2011, why you bringing in a guy? See, I wouldn't study and stuff like this back then. But this tells the truth. Why are you bringing in a guy who just went to Cleveland and had the worst offenses in the NFL and you bring him into Miami? You see the decision-making we've been having over the years, ladies and gentlemen? This is just sad. Let's keep reading, all right? So he come to Miami with his Dolphins improving from 30th in the league to 20th in overall offense. So we did improve in Miami from 30th to 20th, but they didn't feel like it was still good enough because he then went to the Kansas City Chiefs after we fired him. And he replaced Bill Muir or whoever. Daboll had previously worked with Chiefs head coach Romeo Crennel, general manager Scott Pioli, so they already knew him. That's why they brought him in. And quarterback Matt Castle in the New England Patriots organization. And the next year, they announced that they bring him back in a coaching capacity for the remainder of the Patriots season. On February 5th, 2017, Daboll was part of the Patriots coaching staff that won another Super Bowl. In the game, the Patriots defeated the Atlanta Falcons. We remember that when they were dangling no W. Return to college. Nick Saban starting blah, blah, blah. Nothing there but a national championship where they defeated Georgia. Returned to the NFL in 2018. Daboll was named new offensive coordinator. Daboll is credited in part with the development of quarterback Josh Allen, who many scouts saw as a project coming out of college. Allen set numerous passing records, improved significantly that year, finished second that year with 31.3 points per game. For his work, Daboll won Assistant Coach of the Year, Associated Press. That's Daboll. So his only success that I see is bringing the Dolphins from 30 to 20 and Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen was revered as a project. So that's what you have in Daboll. So, ladies and gentlemen, Daboll has 25 years of coaching experience. On a scale of 10, what would you give him as his coaching experience? And I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to give him a 90% on coaching percentage. Coaching experience, I'm going to give him a 90. I want to know what your grades are. As far as accomplishments, I'm sorry, but I'm going to give him a flat out 50%. He hasn't done anything in 5 years but 3 years of success with Josh Allen, which is small of that, and New England Patriots Super Bowls. But again, Bill Belichick, that whole staff, it's hard to give him credit for much stuff, but I got to give him some type of points. Okay? I'm going to give him a 5, which is 50%. You can do a 5 point something if you want, because that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, the last category, time to rise. Like, how quick did you rise up the ranks? The superstars rise pretty fast. And I'm sorry, I got to get this man like a 20%, a 2. 25 years just to get to this point and never be looked at as a head coach. As a matter of fact, you actually got demoted several times in your tenure. So that's what I have for Daboll. Last but not least, us, the fans. On a scale of 1 to 10, is Brian Daboll being your next coach? What do you give him on a scale of 1 to 10? Hurry up and put it in the comment section. Daboll being your next coach, what do you give him on a scale of 1 to 10? What do you give him on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm getting answers like 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 1, 4, 5, -5. I'm going to have to give him a 3, which is a 30. I'm going to give him a 3.5, which is a 35%. All right. And we'll do all the math at the end of what everybody scored. Okay. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Daboll. That's who he is. All right. All right. Next up, as we got to keep moving, Mike McDaniels. Mike McDaniels. So let me stop real quick. Y'all saw how this is going to work now. Do you like this format? Let's learn together, evaluate together, go through the facts, and give grades. Yes or no? Do you like this format? Do you like this format? Love it. Yeah, it's cool. Yes, yes, yes. Intrigued. Yes, yes, yes. All right, that's enough yeses. I got you then. Appreciate y'all. Just want to make sure. I want to make this interactive with y'all to where y'all appreciate it and not like, oh, this is crap or whatever. All right, let's get into it, man. Mike McDaniels. This is a guy that I don't even know much about, but I've heard a lot about it. A lot of people are intrigued by this guy. Let's find out who he is, okay? Mike Lee McDaniels in 1983, so he's really young. I'm only 2 years older than him. I mean, I'm younger than him, so this man is 39. I like youthful coaches because this is a new NFL, ladies and gentlemen. This is a new NFL. Okay? Brand new NFL. And you need young guys, and I saw some of his press conferences. He's a energetic guy that loves to have fun, it looks like. He reminds me of me. Ain't nothing that serious. Let's joke about some stuff, you know? Ain't gonna blow everything out of proportion, but, you know, keeps the mood light. That's what I get from him, you know, but hey, time will tell. We don't know. We'll see. You know, we think, you know, we could be wrong. Anyway, he's an offensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. He previously served as assistant coach for the Atlanta Falcons, Cleveland Browns, Washington Redskins, football team, Houston Texans, and Denver Broncos. All right. In the 2016 season, McDaniels and the Falcons would reach Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. Okay, and the Falcons would fall in a overtime defeat, which we didn't like. Let's see what he coached during that time, by the way. All right, so on the right side, let's get over there before we get into context. On the right side, all right, he's from Colorado. Okay, he went to Yale. All right, Yale, collegiate guy. As a coach, I'm already loving it. His career started in 2005. You see how Daboll is like 97 or 98 or something like that? He started in 2005. That means his rise to prominence is already shooting a little bit faster than Daboll. But we'll see, because Daboll also went back to college and came back. So those are makeup years, but this guy already got a 7-year head start. All right, so he started as an intern with the Denver Broncos. I like that automatically because he didn't have to go to college. He didn't have to this and that. And I understand it's a McDaniels, okay? But this guy gets a route right into it, okay? And that's an intern for 1 year. Now, he's an offensive assistant for 3 years. Usually the stint as an assistant is about 2 to 3 years, so he meets that criteria, okay? He had 1 more year than Daboll, but 3 years is still acceptable as an assistant before they feel like they can find a home for you and what would best suit you. So then He actually took a demotion from being an assistant, or some would say a promotion, because when you go back to college, when you're an assistant at the bottom ranks of the NFL, it's not a bad thing, because sometimes they want you to have some type of personnel experience or something like that. Dayball already had it. This guy didn't have it coming in, so he went to Sacramento Mountain Lions and was a running back coach for only 1 year, probably to go prove himself, and we'll see what that was about, okay? Then automatically comes right back to the NFL and say, I want to be an offensive assistant with Washington Redskins for 2 years. Now we're starting to take a south turn, okay? I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I got 5 years of being an offensive assistant without any defined role, and you actually went to be a coach in college and came back and was an assistant, not for 1 year, but 2 years, okay? Then you get your breakthrough in 2013 as a wide receiver coach, okay? Then the very next year, wide receiver coach for the Cleveland Browns, another lateral position. Then you get demoted as an offensive assistant. That's 2 years. Just a general offensive assistant, not even a position group. Then in San Francisco, you become a run game coordinator, 2017 to 2020. This is where you made your living, because you've been on offense. You went back to be a running back coach early in your career. You got some offensive assistant experience. Then you were a wide receiver coach. Then you became a running game coach. But I got to give it to you, San Francisco has had great success in that time frame as a running back coach. They've had some really good running backs. They were able to produce a lot of good running backs in that time frame. So I got to give him credit for that. It's still not much. I'm not impressed. I thought I would be. I don't know nothing about a lot of these candidates, y'all. I'm learning with y'all right now, and I'm not impressed yet. His success as a running back coach allowed him to get the nod to become an offensive coordinator in 2021 to present, which is 1 year. San Francisco 49ers, how was that offense this year? I guess let's go into some of the defense. I got to tell y'all now, I'm not impressed, though. I'm not. I thought I would be a lot more impressed, but I'm not highly impressed, okay? This has been another guy working his way, and bam, somebody gave him a shot. And what I'm seeing out of this resume, it could have been a shot because people like him. But I don't know. I ain't going to speculate that, but I'm just going to go off of that. All right? So now, let's go into some of the details. Denver Broncos in 05. As an interim under head coach Mike Shanahan. Nothing here. Running backs coach, I don't see any accomplishments. Let me see. I'm looking for the accomplishments. No, just going to wide receiver. No accomplishments. You see how Dayball said, took a defense from this to that? That's what I'm looking for. Hired by the Atlanta Falcons as a wide receiver coach. No. In 2017, McDaniels was hired as a run game coordinator. Daniels was promoted to offensive coordinator following the departure and passing game coordinator Mike LaFleur, who left to become an offensive coordinator for the New York Jets. Guys, see, he was promoted because the current offensive coordinator moved on to the New York Jets to become an offensive coordinator. So they just basically promoted him. Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm just not impressed. I thought I was going to get a whole lot more than that. I see him on the podium. He's energetic. He's happy. But I will say this. He's young. He's young. So that ain't a bad thing. But experience. Unfortunately, I got to give him a 70%. He's been around for a while, but it ain't, 20 plus years. Started in 05. He coming up on it. He got 70% on experience for me. Accomplishments, I'm sorry. I got to get this guy a 20%. Good job going from the running game. I like what they did, and then becoming an offensive coordinator. But he ain't got no accomplishments, man. Time to rise. Man, I thought it was going to be a whole lot better. I mean, he finagled his way at the very end, but I'm sorry. I got to give him, just like Dayball, a 20%. All right, what do y'all give him on a scale of 1 to 10 as being your next head coach? I got to put that in here. Put it in the comment section. What do y'all put in the comment section as this guy being your next head coach? I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm shocked that they even interviewing these guys. Dayball maybe, but no, Mike need to do a little bit more work before you get the keys to a team that has a top defense. And no. This is not a resume that you get to take over an entire team. If you get this job, you know people. It's that simple. I'm gonna give him a 4. I'm gonna give him a 40% as being a coach. Not a 40% chance, but I'll give him 40% of that 10. I don't like it. We got some bad candidates so far. All right, next up, ladies and gentlemen, Doug Peterson. What you think about him? What do you think about Doug Peterson? He done been around for a while. Somebody said, oh my gosh, he using Wiki. Okay, is that a issue? I'm just curious. Is that an issue? Well, where's Doug Peterson? There we go. Doug Peterson. All right. Know a little bit about Doug. Doug actually played quarterback. All right, man. Doug Peterson, born in 1968. So we got some age over here. We got experience, obviously. So pretty much 53 years old. That's a good range. I like. Former quarterback in the NFL. Peterson spent most of his 13 seasons playing career as a backup to Brett Favre and Green Bay Packers, where he was part of the team that won a Super Bowl title. He also was a backup to Dan Marino. Woo! And a starter for the Philadelphia Eagles and Cleveland Browns until retiring in 2004. I already love this, and let me tell you why. That first paragraph told me a lot. First of all, he know the game, he know the position, especially one of the most important positions that we need help at. Okay, and he retired in 2004. That means his climb to prominence, because he's been there, done that. His climb was fast, so we probably gonna get finally a viable coach, but we'll see. Peterson began his coaching career under Andy Reid, serving as an assistant of the Eagles in 2009 or 2012. Fast rise. After Reid became the head coach, Peterson followed him and served as offensive coordinator. He returned to the Eagles as their head coach in 2016 immediately, a position he held for 5 seasons. His greatest success with Philly occurred in 2017, franchise the Super Bowl. Peterson is one of 4 individuals to win a Super Bowl as a player coach, following Tom Flores, Mike Ditka, and Tony Dungy. Ooh, see, we already going to have a guy here, all right? Let's talk about it. I don't want to talk about it as a player. I don't think that's relevant. We know he was a quarterback, got great experience. Bam, I don't want to talk about that. I just want to talk about it as a coach, okay? Now, here we go. As a coach, 2005 to 2008 for 3 years, Calvary Baptist Academy. Went back somewhere that probably he was intrigued him and was a coach at was the head coach. All good, right? Took some time away from the NFL. Then he said, hey, I want to come into the league. Philadelphia Eagles for 2 years. He was the offensive quality control guy. That's like an equipment manager, from my understanding. Okay. That's his entry into coaching. He did it for 2 years. Like I said, you got to have that 2 to 3 years, nothing more than that. Then Philadelphia Eagles, quarterback coach, bam, right away, 2011, 2012, quarterback coach. He already in the fray. Now, do you see any of that assistant this and assistant that? Nope, already in there. Then after 2 years, offensive coordinator for the Chiefs for 3 years. Now, that's what you call rise to prominence. Time to rise is massive on this resume, okay? Philadelphia Eagles head coach, 16 to 20. Already a head coach, already got experience, baby. Already got experience. As a player, no, we don't care about that. As a coach, he won a Super Bowl as a coach already. Maxwell Club NFL Coach of the Year in 2017. He has a winning record as a coach, 42-37 in one tie. Postseason, 4-2. Career, 46-39. Woo! I'm already loving Doug Peterson because the facts are the facts, man. This is what you're looking for. This is just like a job interview. You look at what they've done, how quick it, how long it took for them to rise. Now, he had an advantage being an ex-NFL player, but that's a part of his resume. It's a part of his freaking resume. Does that make him a Bill Belichick? No, but it definitely puts him ahead of the two coordinators we already saw. By far. So let's break it down. Experience. He automatically going to get a 95 from me. Only reason I ain't give him that extra, no, I'm going to give him a 90. Only reason I ain't give him that extra 10 because as a coach, it hasn't been long, but he's already seen the ultimate success, but I can't make him perfect. You know, I ain't got him coming in as a coach since 2000 and having all kind of success, but you already at the top of the spectrum in experience. All right. Let me keep going. Well, we got a donation. What's up, TD? I'm finishing your stream from earlier. Then I'll be back to this one. Happy belated birthday. Hit that like button, y'all. Appreciate you, homie. Enjoy the other stream, man. Now, accomplishments. What do you give him on accomplishments? 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Put your 1 to 10 score with an ACC for accomplishments. Tell me what you think. Brian Daboll. His accomplishments in a short amount of freaking time. First of all, climbing the ranks that fast is an accomplishment. Then you win a Super Bowl as a Philadelphia Eagle. Accomplishment. I'm sorry, man. This man done won a Super Bowl, y'all. I got to give him a 90% on accomplishment, too. Oh, it's like only Bill Belichick will be 100%. But he won in a short amount of time. What do you give for time to rise? How long it took him to go from point A to point B? I got to give him an 80%, man. It don't get much better than this. And what do you give him on a scale of 1 to 10 of acceptability that you wouldn't mind him being your head coach? This is where I got to wait on y'all answer. What would you give him on your acceptability of him being your next head coach? It's the man that took a Super Bowl away from Tom Brady. Salute to him. I got to get this man about an 80% being my next coach. I got to give him about an 80%. 80% being my next coach. Because again, where was he in 2021? Where was he in 2021? I don't know. Coaching career. January announced Peterson was fired as head coach. Peterson finishes tenure in Philadelphia. Regular season record, blah, blah, blah. 2021, Peterson has gotten interest for many jobs and has interviewed for the Bears, Vikings, and okay. So he sat out 2021. All right. So that's Doug Peterson, y'all. And I gave him that 80% because it seemed like a lot of y'all gave 80. I gave him that 80%. And again, I'm going to factor all of these into grades with all the categories at the end. Dougie P. Doug Peterson has an interview. Doubt he wants the job. I had to put him on there because they said that they'll be looking for a coach who's been there and done that and has some success. They're not primarily looking for a coordinator, but they'll do their due diligence on them. So I had to put him in there because these are the type of candidates that I hope that they're also looking for. You keep on, it's almost like you keep entrusting these kids to take care of, the house. To pay, you trusting your 16-year-old to pay all your bills, the mortgage, the lights, the cable, phone bills, daycare, everything. I don't think that's very responsible. So I told y'all it's 11 guys I know they interviewed, but I added 4 myself. Doug Peterson was one of them. Byron Leftwich, Todd Bowles, Nathaniel Hackett, guys like that. I added. And not to mention, this guy is an RPO guy too, right? So we'll see. But that's Doug Peterson, man. All right. I'm going to skip some of the ones I added, and I'm going to put some of the ones, some of the higher priority guys. Let's go with Eric Bieniemy now. Let's see what Eric Bieniemy is. Eric Bieniemy. All right. Bieniemy, born in 69, 52 years old, just like Peterson. Good experience. Former player who's the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. He played college football for the Colorado Buffaloes. Recognized as a consensus All-American. He has selected San Diego Chargers in the second round. Cincinnati. He also played for the Bengals and the Eagles. After his playing career ended, Bieniemy returned to Colorado, where he served as a running backs coach. He served as an offensive coordinator at Colorado before becoming a running back coach of the Chiefs. As a running back coach in the NFL, he coached Adrian Peterson and Jamal Charles, who made a combined 7 Pro Bowls in 8 seasons. Nice. As their running backs coach. Now, Bieniemy, who are you, man? Let's look at the right side. We're going to go to as a coach. So we got another guy that we got playing experience. All right. Here we go. As a coach, we already heard about Colorado, 01 to 2002. After he left the league, UCLA, running backs coach, had a move over position. So he was in the college spectrum. Then he said, hey, let me get into the NFL, running back coach for 3 years with the Vikings. Then he became the assistant head coach, running back coach. So that's a promotion, ladies and gentlemen. You are the assistant head coach in 2010. Now, but we got an immediate demotion. Or some wouldn't say a demotion because he probably wasn't up to be a head coach, but he could also be an offensive coordinator, an official offensive coordinator. Sometimes guys are told, though, go to college and be an offensive coordinator so we can see how you could put a whole unit together, because we can't afford to see if you could put that whole unit together with us, because it can get us fired if you can't. So he was an offensive coordinator for 2 years at Colorado. Then he got back into the NFL as a running back coach for the Chiefs for 4 years. Then he became an offensive coordinator for the Chiefs for the next 3 years. All right, man. God dog. All this raving about Bieniemy, I ain't impressed. I mean, from the surface, y'all, I'm not impressed yet. I'm not impressed. Now, he is a Super Bowl champion. Right? But that's just like Brian Daboll, right? Super Bowl champion. Sports News Coordinator of the Year award in 2020. Sporting News Coordinator. Little award. Man. I don't know, y'all. I know we've been Eric Bieniemy. And, a lot of guys like him. Patrick Mahomes like him. Watson likes him. But as far as resume-wise, I'm not impressed. And again, don't get me wrong. Offensive coordinator from 2018 to now, that's his biggest piece of that's his impressiveness. Everybody knows that team won those Super Bowls because of the offense, and he was the guy in charge. He gets massive credit for that. It wasn't a position group. 2018 and now, they've been nothing but successful offensively, so he gets a lot of credit for that. I'm talking about his early coaching career. I'm not very impressed, but he has shined in the last 3 years mightily. He's responsible for that offense. But once again, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes. So he gets credit, but, it's Patrick Mahomes, just like Dayball, right? We got to be fair. But the difference is Dayball ain't win no Super Bowl like this as the offensive coordinator. Bieniemy has. And what I will say I'm impressed about with Bieniemy, when Patrick Mahomes ain't had it going in the Super Bowl, he dialed them runs up. He had that run game going, what many people didn't think that they could do at all. So there is some creativeness and intelligence in his coaching ability. He's definitely going to get a higher score than Dayball, but it's not the ultimate, I'm impressed like I thought I would be. But he definitely gets credit because his immediate success does warrant that. See, it's guys like that get passed over a lot as being the next head coach, because what they need to do, they need to go to a team as an offensive coordinator and prove they could. Like, he would be the perfect guy to bring into Miami as an offensive coordinator. And when you prove that you can make Tua Tagovailoa something, you're going to get the first head job available the very next year. Y'all see what I'm saying? Eric Bieniemy is the perfect example of a guy, to me, that should go to another team and be an offensive coordinator with a less than quarterback, like the Tuas of the world, the Baker Mayfields of the world, those type of guys, the Jimmy Garoppolos of the world. Help them teams get over the top offensively, and you're the next head coach, the top candidate for all head coaching jobs the very next year. And I'm not going to let the fact that Watson wants him skew my evaluation as a coach. We got to keep this 100% fair right now. Okay? So let's break this down. Experience. He's going to get a easy, because he played, y'all. At the end of the day, he played the game, and he came in the NFL in 2006, just like Doug Peterson. He gets that same 90% for me. He got the experience. He has the experience. When you played the game like that in the NFL, that automatically gives you a bump. Okay? Accomplishments. I'm going to have to give him a 70%. Now, that's a lot higher than Dayball, but it's not Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson was the head coach winning the Super Bowl. He gets the higher score in my opinion, in accomplishments, but 70% is darn good for accomplishments, because this guy was responsible for the main reason the Chiefs winning Super Bowls, the offense. Now, time to rise, there was too much bouncing back and forth from college. I got to give him a 50% on the time to rise. It was quick, just like Dayball, because I gave Dayball an 80. But Dayball's was time to rise in the NFL. He became a head coach and was a head coach for 5 years. He ain't got that experience, so I got to give him a 50. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do y'all see Eric Bieniemy being your next coach? Give me your percentage so I can lock that in. Get a good overall consensus of y'all. And do not let Watson be a factor in this, y'all. Let's make it fair. Let's see who the best option is we have. Give me your score on a scale of 1 to 10. Remember, Brian Daboll was a 3.5. Mike McDaniels was a 4. Doug Peterson was an 80. I'm going to actually have him right there at like a 5.5, because at some point he does deserve his opportunity. 55%. He deserves his opportunity, but I'm a little skeptical of his resume. I need to see him do that with a guy less than Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to put him at a 5.5, 55%. He's going to end up with a good score, but it still ain't going to be Doug Peterson's score. He's going to end up with a good score, though. Okay? I'll put him around 5.5, but like I said, I got to go with y'all. I'm seeing 7s and 8s. I'm just going to round it to a 6. Let's go with 60%. 60%. Seeing a lot of 7s from y'all. Some 4s, 5s, and 7s. So I'm going to put it at 6. Be right in the middle of most of y'all, okay? So here we are with 4 coaches in. All right. We're moving right along. I'm trying to get through them as quick as I possibly can. But this is the interview process. I think we're making good time, though. I think we are. All right. Who's next? Let's see. I got a lot of options here, but let's go ahead and go with Kellen Moore. Let's go with Kellen Moore, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see here. Here we go. Kellen Moore also got some quarterback experience. So, former quarterback, offensive coordinator, Dallas Cowboys. He previously played 6 seasons in the NFL for the Cowboys and Detroit Lions. Moore played college football at Boise State, where he won 50 games, the most of any FBS starting quarterback. Interesting. Signed by Detroit as an undrafted free agent in 2012. He was a member of the Lions and Cowboys for 3 seasons each. He joined Dallas as a coach following his retirement and became the team's offensive coordinator in 2019. All right, here we go. Let's look at the right side. We got a 33-year-old, really, really, really young, one of the youngest you'll ever see for the position. All right. This was interesting to me, and we'll talk about why, okay? Now, as a coach, he became a coach in 2019. This man ain't got no experience. No experience as a coach, okay? And not only did he become a coach, but he went straight into being a quarterback coach from day one, okay? Now, after 1 year, he became the offensive coordinator. 2019, 2020, and 2022, which they've always had a good offense. They did struggle under a lesser of a quarterback, and this is what I'm talking about. Last year when that got hurt, they did struggle. Zeke wasn't the same. They were less of a quarterback, but we got to talk about this guy. Okay? We got to talk about this, okay? First of all, when it comes to experience, this is the only guy that you're allowed to open up his player history, which goes back to 2012 as a Detroit Lion. Everybody knows if you are a backup quarterback, that is the same as coaching experience. Am I wrong? Yes or no in the comment section. Hopefully y'all understand that. When you are a backup quarterback, it is the same as having coaching experience. It is the same thing. You're in the room, you're giving your input, you're coaching each other, bouncing stuff off of each other. That's how quarterback rooms work. That's how NFL quarterback rooms work. And I can tell you now, this guy was being groomed for this position all the way back then. The Dallas Cowboys never brought him in to play football. Jerry Jones has been grooming this man since the day they got their hands on him. And everybody that knows the Cowboys and Cowboy fans, they all know this. They all know this. But he still, even with that, doesn't have the greatest experience. So I'm going to go ahead and grade him right away. Kellen Moore is going to get about a 60% experience. He did play the position, but at the same token, the rise to prominence was too quick. I don't see where you had the O-line experience, the receiver experience, the running back experience, all of that type of stuff. So I'm going to put you at a 6. I can't put you at a 90 with Eric Bieniemy, or a 90 like Doug Peterson, a 70 like Mike McDaniels, a 90 like Brian Daboll. I got to put you at a 60. You are a 40, but I know what time it is. They've been grooming you since day one, so I put you at a 60. Now, his accomplishments, Outside of collegiate football, none. He ain't got no accomplishments. Outside of what the Cowboys been able to do, but you got Dak Prescott, and you struggled. You struggled with Dak Prescott when he got hurt. You struggled with the offense. But you still get credit because that's your offense. And even this year, they've been a good offense. Dak's been in a lull, but you still were able to get your team to win the division and have success and have a chance for the number 1 seed, even though it was floundered as other teams kept winning. So you get some credit for that. You know, you're not absolved of credit. So from an accomplishment standpoint, I'm sorry, I got to give them about a 20%. The Cowboys ain't did nothing. Time to rise. Time to rise, whether y'all like it or not. He gets 100%. It's the only man probably we going to be talking about that gets 100% on time to rise. He's the only guy that's going to get 100% on time to rise. Ain't nobody going to have a faster time to rise than this. But what do y'all see? And I'm not going to do too much work on him. I'm just going to talk about something real quick in a second. But on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give him as your next head coach? On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give him? On a scale of 1 to 10. Y'all all over the place. All right, I'm going to give him a 5 based off of y'all sporadic. No, I'm going to give him a 4.5. 4.5 based off of what I'm seeing from y'all. I'm going to give him a 4.5. Just a quick guesstimate based off of what I'm feeling from y'all. 4.5. So 45%. Only thing intriguing is basically that I know about him. I know about him. I know that in Cowboy circles that Jerry Jones has been grooming this man. Jerry Jones has been grooming this man to be the Cowboys' next head coach when necessary. They've been grooming this guy. But that's why he get 100% on time to rise. Time to rise is simply what, how fast you went up. I don't care if somebody likes you or whatever. You got that. You got that responsibility. You were trusted with it. And they play well under him, that offense. It's always a top 10 offense. So I got to give him that. But I'm not going to go details into his career and all that because it ain't much to talk about, okay? All right, who y'all want to go over next, man? We got Brian Leftwich, Jim Harbaugh, Todd Bowles, Josh McDaniels, Vance Joseph, Jim Caldwell, Leslie Frazier. We got all these guys. Who y'all want to go over next? Put it in the comment section. I want to go in y'all order. Next, Leslie Frazier. All right. I saw it. Leslie Frazier it is. Leslie Frazier. I see Jim Caldwell. We may go over him next. All right, Leslie Frazier, born in 59, 62 years old. So he automatically probably going to have the experience. Former cornerback, who is the assistant head coach and defensive coordinator of the Bills. All right, we got a defensive mind here. Previously served as a head coach of the Vikings for 3 years and previously served as an assistant coach for the Baltimore Ravens, Bucks, all them teams. All right, so looks like we already got a veteran here, so that's a good look. As a coach, 88 to 96 at Trinity International University, stayed on that collegiate level for a while. Then went to University of Illinois, obviously an upgrade, defensive backs coach. Then, bam, let's get in the NFL, defensive back coach for 3 years. So he didn't have that assistant stuff, obviously, because he got cachet and experience. So he came straight in as a position coach, 3 years. All right, I like that. From there, he was a defensive assistant for the Colts. So depending on the role they had him in, let's see if he got promoted from there. All right. Then he was an assistant head coach, bam, and defensive backs coach. So you go from being a defensive assistant to an assistant head coach, you automatically climb the ranks. Right there. From 03 to 06, assistant head coach, you have climbed the ranks fast. You have climbed the ranks fast. That's impressive. Still the DB coach. But he got to get that defensive coordinator role. So in 2007, there it is. Defensive coordinator. Makes sense. Then assistant head coach and defensive coordinator. So basically, he just stuck around for a while, which makes sense for 3 years. So there's no knock on that. But he was the assistant head coach, basically probably sitting around behind his predecessor waiting. So there's no knock here unless he gets demoted. We'll see. Then in 2010, interim head coach, there you have it. They moved on from the coach or whatever happened, and he comes in to be the head coach, then the interim head coach. 11 to 13, he became the head coach. So he climbed those ranks real fast. He climbed those ranks real fast. And I like the path. It wasn't a lot of skipping around and back and forth and demotions. It was always on an upward trajectory. So I like that so far. All right, so 3 years there. So we'll have to read his bio on how he did, but we'll move forward. Then he went to Tampa Bay as a defensive coordinator. So there's your demotion, but sometimes that doesn't happen when you don't have immediate success. Let me see. Yeah, when you don't have immediate success as a head coach. So he became a defensive coordinator for 2 years. Then he got demoted as a secondary coach. So another demotion, which isn't good. Usually you want him to go down to a defensive coordinator and stay there. But he got demoted again as a secondary coach. Then he went over to the Bills from 2017 to present as an assistant head coach and defensive coordinator. So he got promoted again. So somebody liked him and probably brought him in. It may have been a relationship situation because 2 demotions and then a bump up 2 levels. That's interesting to me. He's a Super Bowl champion as a player and a Super Bowl champion as a coach. That's huge. We're going to see the role in all of that, all right? So I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, but originally let's talk about experience. When it comes to experience, let me go back real quick. Man, this guy gets 100%, man. It's about a guy been college and coaching since the 80s, y'all. And he got over 20 years NFL experience pretty much. So he gets 100 on experience. He's been there, done that, seen it all. Okay. Accomplishments, we're not going to do it yet. We got to go through the bio on this, okay? This is one that you have to go through the bio to see, what stands out. What stands out, okay? Frazier was part of the 85 Chicago Bears team that won. I don't want to talk about him as a player. Let's talk about coaching only. All right. Frazier started in 88, blah, blah, blah. I want to pass all that collegiate. Joined his first head coach, Andy Reid, Philly. It was there that Frazier worked with fellow assistants, Vikings, steadily for 4 years. He was defensive coordinator, Cincinnati Bengals. He helped turn the unit into a group that increased takeaways from 24 in 03 to 36 in 04. See, those are the things I'm looking for. So he basically improved that defense, made him a takeaway machine. The Bengals 36 takeaways ranked third in the NFL in 2004. Nice. 20 interceptions, most since 96. The defense improved from 28th in the league in total yards to 19th. It's a good jump, but ain't too impressive to me, but that's a good jump. And declined in the 2 years following his dismissal. So when he left, it went right back down the trash. So that does speak volumes, though. He has moved numbers in that regards. Now, 05, hired Tony Dungy, defensive assistant, received the title of special assistant to the head coach. Okay, so he was coveted, which is a good thing. He was specifically brought in by Dungy to help the young core of defensive backs, so he dealt with young guys. During the time in Indianapolis, passing defensive improved from 15th in 05 to 2nd in 06. Moving numbers again. But this is something that we already got a strength in, y'all. But let's keep going. All right. So he lost the Super Bowl to the Colts when he was with Chicago. 4 days later, became the defensive coordinator in Minnesota. Vikings head coach Brad Childress after the team. So the Vikings fired the head coach after starting 3-7 and named Frazier the interim head coach. Frazier ended the 2010 season with a loss to Detroit, putting the Vikings in last place in the NFC North. Frazier's record in 2010 was 3-3, 500. Second full year as the head coach. Well, no. Let's go back. Frazier reached an agreement making him the replacement coach. His first season as coach, rebuilding the Vikings, went 3-13. That was a rebuild year, so no biggie. All right. They said he'll return. Then he improved to 10-6. I love it. You rebuild at 3-13, then you go to 10-6. Sound like Brian Flores right there. 1 game short though. The biggest single season turnaround in Vikings history. Finishing 4th in voting for the coach of the year. And they kept him under contract. Then he was fired in 2013 when the Vikings head coach after 5-10-1 season. So he went right back down after that. And it was downhill from there. Frazier hired by Baltimore secondary coach, then hired by Buffalo to be their defensive coordinator on March 2020. Frazier was promoted to assistant coach. I got to ask a Buffalo fan this, okay? It looks like a lot of things happened in 2017. I just don't remember. Matter of fact, I always forget his name. What's the Buffalo Bills head coach name again? What's the Buffalo Bills head coach name? What's their coach name? What's their current head coach name? I got to see something. Yeah. I don't know why I always forget Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott. I just want to see when he became the head coach for Buffalo. Because something's interesting about this. Buffalo, but 2017. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell y'all something. This is why. So this is what I was trying to tell y'all with Brian Flores. It is hard to get coordinators. It is really hard to get good coordinators. Here comes Sean McDermott going to Buffalo trying to find great coordinators, but he ended up getting a guy who had been demoted twice and said, well, let's go with him. At least he got experience. You see what I mean? That's how it works. That's why I was scratching my head like, man, he went from a head coach to a defensive coordinator. Then he went down to a defensive back coach again. He's just getting demoted after demoted on different teams. So his rise to prominence is falling. Then he right back up to the defensive coordinator. You see what I'm saying? his trajectory was falling, but these young coaches coming into the league getting head coaching jobs, it's hard to get good coordinators. So you got to rely on guys who've been there and done that, who've seen some stuff. And Frazier ain't nobody, it wouldn't be a top choice, but he got experience, so you bring him in. But and then you see success in Buffalo. I got to be honest with y'all. I ain't been impressed with their defense in 3 years. I know the last year, everybody like, oh, their defense was good. I feel like it's a fad. I feel it's a fad. Somebody said, now you evaluating coaches, you trip, TD. Let me tell you something. See, some of y'all got some limited, y'all got to start with this limited mind sometimes. So I can't evaluate a coach. What makes Stephen Ross more qualified than me to evaluate a coach? Because you think that Greer is the only one making the decision? You don't think that Stephen Ross ain't interviewing the coaches too? A part of the process? When you got hired at your job, some of y'all got hired at a job that you had no experience in. So what makes that person hiring you qualified to hire you? Y'all got to stop this mess, man. You got to stop this mess. These little comments. And I'm not evaluating head coaches. We are as a group. As a group. We're having fun. We're enjoying ourselves, going through the coaching carousel that's out here for us, looking at experience, looking at why would we bring a guy in that done been demoted. Look, Brian Daboll, look how many times that man got demoted. But in 2017, they bring him in with I don't know why I put this at 100%, with Frazier or whatever, Leslie Frazier. And all of a sudden, they win some games, and all of a sudden, they some of the best in the league? No. Like I said, that team ain't been much at all. They spent a lot of money, brought in a lot of talent, and been living off of Josh Allen. If he play like trash, that team can do nothing. If he plays well, they do everything. It's that simple. I'm not saying the man don't deserve to be another head coach again, but at the same token, you got to look at these resumes. He was a head coach, and that's a good thing. But now we come to the point of his accomplishments. What has he accomplished? He took 2 position groups from average to improvement or bad to improvement. That's an accomplishment, but ain't no big accomplishments. Come on, man. Let me see here. He has a Super Bowl under his belt, but let me see as what position? As a special assistant to Tony Dungy? So I'm sorry, his accomplishments, I'm going to put him around I'm going to give him a 60%, more than Brian Daboll. No, I got to give him a 50, just like him. Because at least Brian Daboll got that Patriots experience. At least he got that Patriots experience. And Leslie got that Colts experience. Super Bowl. Time to rise. He had a good time to rise, but in his time to rise, he also had some time to fall. He went from a head coach in 2013 down to a defensive coordinator for 2 years, down to a secondary coach for another year, and back straight up. So he out there playing the game, you know. So time to rise, I'm going to give him a, see here. Got to look at the timetable. He been in there forever, though. I mean, this man started 99. Yeah, his time to rise, I'm going to give him about 35% because he did at least rise again. He rose again. On a scale of 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do y'all see him as being your next coach? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you see, where do you put him being your next coach? TD, do one on Belichick just for fun. I will. I can do that. I will. Well, why? Belichick experience 100, accomplishments 100. I can go look at the time to rise and see what that'll be. I mean, ain't no need to do Belichick. To be our next head coach, I'm seeing a lot of 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. We're going to give him a 40%. Matter of fact, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to start calculating some of these scores. Mike McDaniels for me. I did my research. He ain't very high on this list, Mike McDaniels. But let me go ahead and calculate these early scores. We got 6 coaches in already, and we're going to give them a grade, okay? Y'all give me a second. All right. Y'all give me a second. 7, 15, 6. All right, 3.5. I'm gonna give y'all these scores real quick. So Brian Daboll's total score. Brian Daboll is a 51.5, which is an F. All right, 21. Six, and 4. All right, Mike McDaniels is a 37% F. Here's what it is. Doug Peterson. See what we get. All right, 40, 54. Doug Peterson is an 86%. That's a B, a flat B. Doug Peterson is an 86% flat B. Eric Bieniemy. See what we get. Eric Bieniemy is a 59%. See here. F plus, if there's a such thing. And don't think of it, and I want y'all to realize this. Don't think of it just because you're an F, you're not going to be the coach. We're just ranking these guys. The reason why a lot of these guys have low scores, some of their time to rise, and their experience just doesn't meet up with those experienced guys. Okay. Now let's go with Kellen Moore. 10, 6, 30. All right. Kellen Moore is a 58.5, which is also an F, but he's right there with Bieniemy. And the last one, Leslie Frazier. All right. 59.5. He's just over Eric Bieniemy. Still an F. So that's Leslie Frazier. So that's what you got so far right now. That's what you got. You got one guy with a passing grade, Doug Peterson, won a Super Bowl, been there, done that. He's supposed to be up there. But again, like, so say you don't get Doug Peterson. This is all about going with your best option. This is a whole bunch of unproven guys. How the F is Bieniemy that low? This is just off of our scale. One factor is experience. Eric Bieniemy has a lot of experience. Another one is his accomplishments. He did well in his accomplishments. Then time to rise. He didn't have a good time to rise. It took him so long in the NFL to even get where he is now. So those are our three factors. And the last factor is us. What do we think of him as a coach? Eric Bieniemy was pretty much hurt because of his time to rise. And the reason why I wanted to factor in time to rise is y'all got to understand this is a resume. Just like when you go on a job interview. When you got one resume where the guy was a entry-level position, came in a supervisor in a year, came a manager in 2 years, became a director in 4 years, versus a guy who was a line staff, who became a supervisor after 6 years, became a manager after 10 years, became a director after 30 years. They're going to have a slower rise. There's a reason why that other guy is rising faster. Because he just that dude. So that's what hurts Bieniemy. Every step of the way is taking him quite some time to get there. That's his lowest score. So I'm sorry. That's what we got for him right now. And honestly, he doesn't have a huge resume. Go look at it. It ain't as big as people that I thought it was. Like, and that's another thing. A lot of us just give these guys credit because of the team they on. But he was with the Chiefs with Mahomes. Just like Adam Gase was with Peyton freaking Manning. We got to stop this mess, man. All right, who's next? Who's next? What coach y'all want to do next? What coach you want to do next? Who y'all want to do next? All right, let me read. Caldwell, Jim Kelly, Jim. All right, let's do Caldwell. All right, Jim Caldwell. Let's see what he got. Let's see what the rave is. Let's see what the everybody raving about with Jim Caldwell. All right, so 66. All right. Served as a head football coach at Wake Forest University, 93 to 2000, so 7 years. Head coach of the Colts from 09 to 2011. And Detroit Lions from 14 to 2017. Caldwell has been a part of 2 Super Bowl winning teams in his career as an assistant head coach and quarterbacks coach for the 06 Colts over the Chicago Bears, and as offensive coordinator of the 2012 Baltimore Ravens. That's interesting. And I knew this stuff, but I never put it together until you really sit down and think about who was the quarterbacks. This is interesting. Caldwell already got an up on this, and I'm gonna break down why. I knew some of this information, but didn't care to dive into it until now. And I'm already hearing why this guy's going to end up having a high score. All right, so first of all, as a coach, 1977, we know he's going to end up being 100 on experience, but let's start the NFL career. NFL career started in 2001. He didn't do all that puppy work. He went straight to being a quarterback's coach right away. This is a quarterback guy. Quarterbacks are quarterbacks, okay? Indianapolis coach, assistant head coach, and quarterbacks coach right away. After one season entering the league, you're the assistant head coach, and you maintain your quarterback coach. Okay? Head coach after being an assistant for 6 years. So the team is grooming you and you already an assistant. You just waiting on your opportunity with the same organization, and they give it to you. 3 years, 4 years as a head coach. Bam. 4 years as a head coach. 2009 to 2011. Now, where are you? Then in 2011, you basically got demoted quarterback coach in 2012. All right. Then you go right back up to interim offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. So you're starting to climb again. You remember the last guy we did, right? You remember the Leslie Frazier, demoted twice, then went up to the top. He got demoted once and start moving up. Then he was the official offensive coordinator for Baltimore. And we're going to talk about what he did as these coordinators. Then back to being a head coach from 2014 to 2017. Then y'all remember he was with Miami as an assistant head coach and quarterbacks coach in 2019. But we all know what happened with that. Like, what's up with Harbaugh, man? Health issues, quote unquote. He has a regular season record of 62-50, postseason 2-4, and that's his NFL career. Okay? Now we need to break down some stuff with him. But first of all, we already know 100% experience, okay? 100% experience. Now, let's break down the details of it. Let's go to it. Coaching career, Indianapolis Colts. All right. All right. With Dungy, quarterbacks coach. And remember, this is just like Leslie Frazier, but much more success than Leslie Frazier, ladies and gentlemen. This is Leslie Frazier with more success. And when he got demoted, he actually proved great accomplishments, and we're going to talk about those. All right. Remained with him the entire tenure, helped lead the coach to a Super Bowl, okay? As an assistant coach, helped lead the coach to a Super Bowl. He was announced as his successor in 2009 after Dungy announced retirement. He was formally introduced, blah, blah, blah. Caldwell had one of the best debut seasons of a head coach in NFL history, finishing with a 14-2 record. Better than it was before with Dungy there. The coach rushed out to a 14-0 start with the AFC South title and the top seed of the AFC playoff secured. On orders from the GM, Bill Poland, to sit out his starting players the last 2 games of the season. I didn't know this, y'all. I did not know this. Caldwell was told by the general manager, Bill Polian, to sit out his starters for the last 2 games of the season. This man could have had a chance to try to break the Miami Dolphins' undefeated record. The coach told him to sit the starters out. The GM told him to sit the starters for the last 2 games after going 14-0. I did not know that. I did not know that. He had this team performing better than Dungy did. Man, and in that same season, He won his first playoff game versus Baltimore, and the fifth rookie coach, the first-year coach to go to a Super Bowl. Woo! What if he can do it again? Woo! First-year coach to go to a Super Bowl. Woo! First year with Miami, baby. I'm just saying, I'm getting excited. I'm already on the Jim Hart. Oh my God, his accomplishment rating is already going to be high. So he goes to the Super Bowl, man. After securing a 30-17 win against the New York Jets, won the Super Bowl. Oh, that was the AFC Championship game, excuse me. Caldwell's rookie season ended in a loss, 31-17, just like they did the Jets to the New Orleans Saints. So that was your Breeze one. So the Saints beat them in the Super Bowl 31-17. He shared the NFL record with the best start of a rookie head coach, starting with 14 wins, which is messed up. They should have let that man get that record. They should have let that man get that record. That's some crap, boy. And he's the last rookie head coach to reach the Super Bowl, by the way. In his second season with the Colts, he was 10-6 record, but maintained the division title. He won the division again at 10-6. And let me tell you something about winning the Super Bowl. It's hard to keep them same players because they all worth more, and now you got to lose guys to free agency. But he went 10-6 and won the division again, and they lost their first playoff game versus the Jets. That was revenge by 1 point. And that was the end of Peyton Manning's era in Indianapolis. And that was Peyton Manning with all them issues in his neck. Now, the very next year, the team sunk to 2-14. Peyton Manning missed the entire season due to undergoing neck surgery. That's what it was. They dealt with a backup quarterback the whole year because Peyton Manning had to deal with surgery. So he didn't have his quarterback. So I really like Jim Caldwell because he know the value of a quarterback. But it gave him the number 1 pick, in which they ended up selecting Stanford quarterback. I said Matthew Stafford. Quarterback Andrew Luck, which was an excellent selection, by the way. So he obviously is a great talent evaluator at the quarterback position, having been a quarterback coach his entire career pretty much. He definitely knows talent at the position. And this is the guy that actually worked with Peyton Manning. Quarterback coach 02 through 08, head coach 09 to 11. That was Peyton Manning's quarterback. More so than Tony Dungy, ladies and gentlemen. More so than Tony Dungy. This was his quarterback. Then had the smarts to draft Andrew Luck. Very wise. All right, 13 days after dismissal from the Colts after that bad season, he was named quarterback coach for the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens dismissed Cam Cameron and named Caldwell the offensive coordinator. On the day after defeating the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game, head coach John Harbaugh announced that Caldwell would be the team's permanent offensive coordinator going forward. After beating the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship, Caldwell helped lead the Ravens to a 34-31 victory over San Francisco in the Super Bowl at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Let me tell y'all what's most impressive about that Baltimore run. Let me tell you what's more important about that Baltimore run. Who was Baltimore's quarterback? Who was Baltimore's quarterback? Tell y'all what was most important about it. Who was Baltimore's quarterback? Who was Baltimore's quarterback? Flacco. You know what type of season Flacco had to have that year in order for them to win the Super Bowl? One of his most mistake-free productive seasons. One of his most mistake-free productive seasons. He turned Flacco into a guy that just didn't cause them to lose. And they won a Super Bowl. Sad to say, if anybody can help Tua, it would be Jim Caldwell. But he probably ain't got patience for that anymore, just like Chan Gailey. Jim Caldwell will probably want Flores. But I will tell you, if anybody can help Tua, it might just be Jim Caldwell. To the point to where Harbaugh said, man, he the permanent offensive coordinator. We ain't got to play. Then the very next year, it didn't matter that he was the permanent coordinator because he got another coaching job in Detroit. First African-American to hold a position with the Lions, by the way. First season with the trash Lions at that time, he went 11-5 and made the playoffs as a wild card. 11-5, y'all. Now, they were defeated in the first round by the Dallas Cowboys. 24-20. They did struggle the next season, going 1-7. And they decided to they fired the team president and the general manager. There was speculation they'd fire Caldwell, but the next week the Lions won a road game against the Green Bay Packers for the first time since 1991, and they end up winning 6 games for their final 8. So he turned that season around. 1-7, end up going 6-2 for the rest of the way after they fired the president and the general manager. Interesting. You fire the president and the general manager and all goes well. You fire the president and the general manager and all goes well. Oh, my gosh. We should have had them look at this before they fired Flores over freaking Greer. But that's neither here nor there. All right. Let me see what else we got. They said he'll retain his job. He went 9-2 record and lost to the Packers in Week 17 game to determine the winner of the NFC North, which is tough, y'all. He went 9-7. In that last game, he lost. He was trying to go 10-6, but he lost to freaking Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, and it was for the whole division. But they still made the playoffs and lost in the first round to Seattle. Seattle in 2016, was that the Legion of Boom era, y'all? Y'all tell me if I'm wrong, yes or no? 2016, is that the Legion of Boom era? Is that the Legion of Boom era with Seattle? I believe so, if I'm not mistaken. They lost 26-6. Yeah, that Legion of Boom will hold you to 6. Again, they went 9-7 the very next year. And they missed the playoffs this time. And that was the end of Caldwell pretty much, I believe. That's pretty much it. I'll stop right there. All he did is win for them and ran against some juggernauts like the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks. And they fired him. I didn't know half of this stuff, at least from like the details. So he gets 100 on experience. His accomplishments is pretty much as high as Doug Peterson's. I'm going to give him a 90%. Actually, it should probably even more, but I'll give him a 90. And his time to rise, it don't get much quicker than that. I mean, this man came into the league pretty much as a quarterback coach and right away an assistant head coach. He gets 100 on the time to rise. Let me give. And what were y'all? Would you want Jim Caldwell as your quarterback? Scale of 1 to 10. Let me know what you think. Scale it right now. Scale of 1 to 10. Would you want him as your quarterback? Let me know what you think. Scale of 1 to 10. 11. 9. 9. I'm going to give him a 9. Let me do his overall score now because it's phenomenal. He gets a 96%, A. Jim Caldwell is the ultimate A. He has a 96% on our scale. He's your ultimate A. I hope they bring Jim Caldwell back. And he's an offensive guy. Quarterback guy. He can definitely fix this offense. We could keep going. But should we? I'm gonna do one more and then I'm gonna stop for the night, all right? And we could pick up the rest later because we're gonna compile all of this as a list. I'm gonna do Harbaugh. I'm gonna do Jim Harbaugh. I'm gonna do Jim Harbaugh, and then we can pick up the rest later. Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, it's been a lot of health issues. Okay, do Dan Quinn. We may do him tomorrow, bro. I got to do Harbaugh real quick. Let's do Jim Harbaugh. Hopefully, I can do him within 10 minutes. Because I want this stream not to be longer than 2 hours. Maybe we won't be able to. All right, the infamous Jim Harbaugh, who's 58 years old, that everybody's talking about. Okay, we know he was a player in this league. Let's do it. First of all, he has a long bio. Oh my gosh, we'll break it all down. Whew. All right, as a coach. Oakland Raiders 2002 to 2003 quarterback coach, just like Jim Caldwell, straight in quarterback coach. Even crazier, got his head coaching job even sooner. The San Diego Chargers when they were San Diego. Went to Stanford to be a head coach after that for 3-4 years. Then back in the NFL to be a head coach for 4 years. Back to Michigan to be a head coach. Listen, at the end of the day, there's no coordinator and bouncing around in this guy. He's just the guy. Okay. All right. NFL record 44-19-1. Postseason 5-3. He does what he wants to do. NFL Coach of the Year, 2011. College, I mean, he just has the accolades. That's like ADHD of coaching. As a head coach or an overall coach? Kind of both. We're kind of evaluating both. He has the experience. He's a bio guy where you got to read how it all went. Okay. Gosh, they just got this bio. It's just vast. It's vast. He didn't coach Chargers. Did I say that? Oh, my bad, not the Chargers. I meant San Diego, which is college. All right. Then Stanford, then to San Francisco, because San Francisco was his prominence. I was gonna say San Diego Chargers. Man, I gotta look into that. Let me read this bio. I didn't know that. So thank you for correcting me, because I was like, I gotta read this bio. I didn't know that. All right, here we go. Let's fast forward. San Francisco, alma mater, Michigan. All right, let's fast forward to what matters in the NFL when he came over. The Chicago Bears selected in the first round. Yeah, we know that. Let's go to NFL career, man. We got to go all the way down. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. 4 days after winning the Orange Bowl, Harbaugh agreed to a 5-year, $25 million contract to become the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. He succeeded Jim Tomsula, who was the interim head coach. All right. They hadn't had a winning season nor a playoff appearance since 2002. Does that sound familiar, y'all? Haven't had a winning season or a playoff appearance since 2002. It's similar to us. We've had a few, but man. Though the 49ers were expected to struggle in what was anticipated to be a rebuild season, with a new scheme and many new players, as well as shortened summer practices due to the lockout, Harbaugh led his team to a 13-3 record in the regular season, winning the NFC West while finishing second overall in the NFC to bring the team to an NFC championship game. This was the first time the 49ers had made the playoffs since 2002, generating widespread praise. Harbaugh played his brother John Harbaugh of Baltimore, losing the Thanksgiving showdown 16-6. John and Jim Harbaugh are the first pair of brothers, blah, blah, blah. Harbaugh's work in San Francisco had resulted in an extremely successful season, revitalizing the career of Alex Smith. That's one thing I do give him credit for, because Alex Smith's career was revitalized. It boosted, okay? Which probably ultimately led him over to have the success he had in Kansas City for the stint that he had. Let me see. Now, also under that rule, defensive coordinator Vic Fangio created one of the leading defensive squads in the 2011 season. The 49ers season ended with a 20-17 loss in overtime to the eventual Super Bowl champion New York Giants in the NFC Championship game at the conclusion of the season. Harbaugh was named Coach of the Year. All right. So is that twice there? He lost to his brother that went on to win the Super Bowl. Then he lost to the Giants, who ended up going on to win the Super Bowl. In the 2012 season, Harbaugh resolved a quarterback controversy by replacing incumbent Alex Smith with Colin Kaepernick. Smith was ranked third in the NFL in passer rating at 104.1, led the league in completion percentage, and had a 19-5-1 as a starter under Harbaugh. While Kaepernick was considered more dynamic with his scrambling ability and arm strength, Smith began 2012 with the record of 6-2, as a starter before suffering a concussion in the following game. He missed the following game, and Kaepernick was 16-23, blah, 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 in a 32-7 win over Chicago. Harbaugh was impressed with Kaepernick and said, we have two quarterbacks that have a hot hand. While dismissing any rule, starting job due to injury, Smith was medically cleared to play before the next game, but Harbaugh chose not to rush him back and started Kaepernick. I love the decision here. He threw and ran for a touchdown in a 31-21 win over New Orleans Saints. Harbaugh announced that Kaepernick would start for the 8-2-1 49ers, while other while also stating that the assignment was week to week. So he had a quarterback controversy over there that, and he ended up going with Kaepernick as the starter for the remainder of the season as the 49ers again qualified for the playoffs. Harbaugh led the team to 11-4-1 on record in the regular season, winning back the NFC West title. Harbaugh quarterback decision was on display in the first game of the playoffs. The 49ers won 45-31 over Green Bay. Kaepernick had 444 total yards of offense. Man, 263 passing, 181 rushing. It's that RPO, man, with a guy who can actually throw the ball down the field. He set the record for rushing for a quarterback in an NFL game with 181 outbursts against Green Bay. In the NFC Championship game, Harbaugh led the 49ers to a 28-24 win over the Atlanta Falcons, which sent the 49ers to the Super Bowl. He faced his older brother in the Super Bowl, and it was the first time that the opposing team, brothers, of course, the Ravens won the game. This is the game they won. So, excuse me, this was the year 2 years later. So he lost to his brother in a Super Bowl. 2013, they went 12-4 again. Third consecutive appearance, NFC Championship game, where they lost to Seattle. Legion of Boom again. Another Legion of Boom. He had a better outing than Jim Caldwell in that. And they went to the Super Bowl. In doing so, Harbaugh became the first NFL head coach to reach the conference championship game in each of his first 3 seasons. 3 conference championship games in a row. That's like coming on par with what Mahomes is over there doing with Andy Reid. But he didn't get one. He didn't get one that year. He didn't get it. He went to the championship game 3 times in a row, but didn't get one. And some could argue he ran into some historic defenses. Seattle's defense was historically great. Baltimore that year, historically great defense. He just ran into these teams. The Giants, their run. He ran into some historically great defenses, and that RPO format was no contention to it. This is why guys like him want a pro-style quarterback that can do the RPO and pro-style. Insert Watson, ladies and gentlemen. 2014, 49ers went 8-8, failed to reach the playoffs under Harbaugh era. There was a rumor Harbaugh would not return in 2015, regardless of the season's outcome, even though the owner denied the claim. He was involved in a power struggle with the 49ers general manager. God dog it. It's always these general managers, right? Harbaugh was involved with a power struggle with the general manager. Harbaugh and the 49ers agreed to mutually part ways immediately after the win over the Arizona Cardinals in the final week of the regular season. I didn't know this. Harbaugh later said, I did not leave the 49ers. I felt like the 49ers hierarchy left me. Ooh. Oh, man. That is crazy. And he said his goal, he wanted to finish where he started. You know, he wanted to win a Super Bowl with them. And he left the 49ers as one of their most successful coaches. Man. Fired after, and they fired the next coach after one season going 5-11. 49ers went 13-3 and advanced to the Super Bowl. The 49ers had losing seasons every year following Harbaugh departure. Man, oh man. Then he's been at Michigan every year after that, and they love him at Michigan. I didn't know that they had issues in the front office. He didn't leave the organization. They left him, he felt. Man, they hated him like Flo. Well, there's a chance we may not be getting Jim Harbaugh. Man, experience again. You got to get a man the ultimate 100 accomplishments. 3. I'm gonna give him a 90 in accomplishments because he never won it. But 3 championships rounds, that's accomplishment in the NFL in a row. And dealt with power struggles. Time to rise, he gets 100. And how likely would you like Jim Harbaugh to be our head coach? Would you like Jim Harbaugh to be our head coach on a scale of 1 to 10? What would you rank him at? On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rank him at? We got some 10s, man. I ain't gonna lie. And he didn't, it wasn't his decision. He had I got to get this man a 9.5, man. I want to give him a 10, but 9.5. 95%. Let me do his rankings, man. He's a 96.7%, which is an A as well, just like Jim Caldwell. But he gets the nod. He got 1 extra point more than Jim Caldwell on his ranking sheet. Jim Harbaugh, Jim Caldwell. If you can't get one of those guys, Doug Peterson is 3rd place right now at 86%. So Jim Harbaugh leads the way at 96.7. That's what we got. I'm going to end the stream there. The quarterbacks we got left are Brian Leftwich, not quarterbacks, but coaches we got left. Brian Leftwich, Todd Bowles, Nathaniel Hackett, Kevin O'Connell, Josh McDaniels, Thomas Brown, Vance Joseph, and Dan Quinn. That's what we will do next time. We'll finish those guys out and then give our final thoughts of our grading sheet. That's our grading sheet. This is very interesting, y'all. This is what I love about doing this channel. You always learn stuff, man. You always learn stuff. There's some interesting contrast in a lot of this. And hopefully this helped y'all learn some of the history of this league and some of these coaches, their rise to prominence. You see all the connections. You see how many people were with the Colts. You see how many people bounced around, went up, went down, who they helped. You know, that Flacco season, who attributed to that. You know, you see all of this stuff. The Kaepernick rise, the Alex Smith revitalized career. You see who had their hand in the cookie jar with a lot of this stuff. You see that. These are some real interesting things that we're learning together, man. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this part 1 is what I'm gonna call it. Part 1 of the Miami Dolphins new head coach evaluations final grades. So that's where we are right now. Now that's the first tier of quarterbacks. So the first tier is Jim Harbaugh, number 1, Jim Caldwell, number 2, and Doug Peterson, number 3. Now that next tier, who's leading the way? Eric Bieniemy at 59. Kellen Moore at 58.5. No. Leslie Frazier leads the way at 59.5. Then Eric Bieniemy at 59. Then Kellen Moore at 58.5. Then Brian Daboll at 51.5. And Mike McDaniels at 37. That's what we have so far. All right. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm about to go spend some time with the family and enjoy our Friday evening. We will be live for some playoff action tomorrow. I'll get with y'all on that. Again, thank y'all for tuning in to TDPHINSTALK. So we'll finish this at our next available opportunity. If I can't go live early tomorrow, I'll just go live for the playoff games. And same thing Sunday. So we might be finishing this Monday. We might be finishing this list on Monday. So stay tuned. But we'll do some playoff action tomorrow, and let's sit back and enjoy some good football. I ain't gonna lie, we're not in the playoffs. Okay, we ain't gonna cry about it. But I love playoff football, y'all, because you get to see some of the best teams compete. You get to see some real juggernauts versus juggernauts, not all that crap you see during the regular season, a great team playing a bum, even if the bum wins. I mean, football is good regardless, but I love seeing the best of the best that make it play each other because you really get to get firm evaluations of quarterbacks, offensive systems, defensive systems. You really get to see who's real and who's fake. So we're going to watch these games tomorrow. We're going to evaluate them. Let me see who we got first up tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be able to do both games. I know I'm going to do one, but hopefully I can do both. I think I've already I'm good to do both, but just in case something comes up, who knows. So the first game, the Bengals versus the Raiders, I'm going to love that because the Raiders are, been fighting. And the Bengals, they've been as hot as anyone. I mean, you never know who can go far this year. That'll be a good one. Both teams 10-7. That's a great matchup. Then you got the Patriots and Bills. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Okay? And then Sunday, you got the Eagles and Bucks. I got to be honest with y'all. I'll probably be skipping that Eagles-Bucks game. I'm not really interested in it. I'll probably watch it personally with my wife. But I'll probably skip the Eagles-Bucks game. Just keeping it 1,000 with y'all. That's the most lopsided game so far in the playoffs. That's the most lopsided one. And who knows, any given Sunday, but that's the one that I'll probably skip. I'll watch it personally, though. Then you got the Cowboys San Francisco. I should definitely be streaming that one. That's a good one. We want the Cowboys to win. We want that good draft pick from San Francisco. Then you got the Chiefs, Steelers. I'm going to be honest. Just depends on how I feel. That's lopsided too. The Chiefs should take care of business. I'm not a fan of watching Steelers football as of late. So I may skip that one on that day. I might only do the Cowboys game, to be honest with you. Then Monday night, Rams, Cardinals, we will be doing that. So that'll start our playoff week. We will do the Rams, Cardinals. We will do the Cowboys, San Francisco. We'll do Buffalo, Patriots. And we should do Bengals, Raiders. So that's 4 games I plan on giving y'all this weekend. If it's more, it's more. Not likely, though. So we may skip out on that Bucks, Eagles, Chiefs, Steelers. Those are your 6 games this week. All right. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. See y'all soon. Peace. I am out.